Hey guys, here with you tonight with a awesome hand that came up in a very timely fashion on the heels of last week's talk about surround plays on defense. Today we have a backward finesse by Declare. First of all, we've got 5 slides to go through on a PowerPoint. Then we're going to go to Bridge Base Online and play the hand that came up. And then I have a little bonus for you at the end, which is me being an idiot on Declare play on a separate hand, basically not counting my tricks. All right, so let's go into the PowerPoint here. 5 slides. Being Sherlock Holmes. Bridge is all about solving a mystery. To solve a mystery, you have to put yourself in the other guy's shoes. For example, which hand would you be more likely to open 2 spades? And I'll give you 2 example hands. Ace, queen, sixth, dry, king, third, and queen, third, or the same exact shaped hand and the same exact cards, except we switch the queen of clubs for the 10. So top example is 11 count, bottom example is a 9 count. I want to make a non-pass bid with both, but I'd be more likely to open the top hand, 1 spade, and the bottom hand, 2 spades. Keep this one in reserve for later on. Time out for a word from our sponsor, Suit Combinations. How do you play ace jack 9 facing king third? Well, it looks like you'd cash the ace and finesse the jack, basically a 50-50 chance, especially if you didn't know anything else about the hand. But if I told you that the finesse was sure to lose, say you were really tall and liked to sit up straight, and the person with the queen was really short and not known for keeping her hand covered, would there be a reasonable alternative way to tackle the suit? Well, of course there would be. This would be a weird PowerPoint if there weren't. You could choose to play for a layout like this, where the queen is behind the jack and the 10 is in front of the jack. While the usual plan of finessing the jack on the second run would fail, a backward finesse would succeed. You could lead the jack and let it ride. This means that if it isn't covered, you would play small from your hand. Here, that strategy would result in 3 tricks. If the jack got covered, you go up king and finesse the 9 on the second round. Call back to surround plays from last week. The suit should look familiar to the defensive theme of surround plays. That's because it's the same exact thing from the opposite vantage. There, the defense must lead the jack if the name of the game is to get 3 tricks out of the suit at once. You would say that the jack surrounds the 10 on its right. And our last slide is a somewhat realistic real-life example. What if you were down to only this suit to play? That's the king third facing the ace jack 9, except that you knew that your left-hand opponent, who'd opened a weak 2 in spades, had shown up with the side cards of ace queen sixth of spades, a singleton heart, and king third of diamonds. If you reasoned that none of those green question marks, those 3 mystery clubs, was likely to be the queen, mightn't you play that person for the 10 and attempt a backward finesse? Well, of course you might. Let's go to our hand. So here I have the hand that happened this morning in Barbara Hudson's morning game. It was my partner, John Cobb, sitting west. He passed. Glenn Anderson was sitting north. He opened a week 2 in spades, and I was sitting east with a problem. 21 high cards, balanced, spade stopper, want to keep hearts in the picture. One idea is that you might just bid 3 no trump with my hand, based on the fact that you do have that spade stopper and a pile of high card points. I decided I wanted to have my cake and eat it too. I started with double. So take out double. Russ Weimer was sitting south and passed. There's nothing else to do with that hand. And a little science here. My partner bid 2 no trump, which is not a literal offer to play no trump and try to take 8 tricks. It is a request for me to bid 3 clubs. Without getting too far into it, the point of this bid is to differentiate when responder to the takeout double has values and like might want to investigate 3 no trump versus when they're just trying to say, partner, you put a gun to my head, you asked me to bid my longest suit, but on the way, I want to make sure that you don't get any bright ideas, aka I have a bad hand. Now, normally, East would just bid 3 clubs here, but I have way too much hand for that. What I did at this point was I broke the relay and bid 3 no trump, and now partner ought to get the picture that, look, I've got a ton of high card points, I've got a spade stopper, I doubled on the way because I wanted to be flexible. Why would I bother to be flexible? Well, I've probably got hearts also. So when he has a hand like the West hand, 5-4 with 5 hearts, he can correct 3 no trump to 4 hearts and think that that's probably the better contract. Okay, so that's where we played it. Now, at this point, I'm going to sub a bot in for me here. both because the bots declare the hands better than I do, and just to convince you guys that the AI would actually play the hand the way I'm suggesting you would. So the opening lead was the singleton 8 of hearts, and a couple of um, pointers here, inferences you can draw about opening leads. First of all, if they bid a suit, or if they bid and raise a suit, or if they preempt a suit, and then they don't lead that suit, and you're missing the ace is very, very likely with the opening bidder. Why is that? Because we're all told not to lead unsupported aces. So if you see a suit like King X and the dummy Jack third in your hand and they bid this suit, very likely that the ace is with the opening leader and he's just chosen not to lead that suit because it's generally an unattractive lead against trump contracts. The second idea is if they don't lead a side suit, they probably don't have a singleton. So if we don't see a diamond or a club lead here, they probably don't have a singleton because you would prefer to lead that, right? And very often their singleton, because you very often have a singleton when you open a week 2, is in trumps, right? Here, North just led his singleton trump, so the gig was up pretty early. So I'm going to put the 8 of hearts on the table. We're going to see the way the bot plays this hand. So he won a heart in hand and played a heart to the dummy. And now he's going to start roughing diamonds. And we'll kind of see one of the points of this in just a second. So he roughed one diamond, played a spade up, North flew bullet, shrugged and got out a second spade. And now declares going to rough one more diamond to hand. And an interesting card shows up, right? The king of diamonds. So the jack spades gets led here, and you will notice at this point, we know that North has opened a week 2 in spades and has shown up with ace, queen of spades, king of diamonds. That doesn't leave him for much else. So it gets covered and roughed, and South just has to pitch. And watch what happens now. The bot leads the jack from the dummy for a backward finesse in clubs. Okay, and he's going to be able to take all 3 tricks here. Look at the 2 options that South has. South can cover with the queen, but then the ace 9 forms a tennis position over the 10. Okay, so we would win the king and lead 1 to the 9, and we take all the tricks that way. If South doesn't cover the jack of clubs, going back to our slide, we're going to let it ride. And the trick's going to go 3, 2, 5, and we will still have the ace, king of clubs, and the rest of the tricks. So interesting that what started as, oh, I'll just hook the queen of clubs, you can actually find out enough about the hand through what they follow to, the inferences from the opening lead, the inferences from the bidding, to change the odds to be much more in favor of this backward finesse idea. And again, if we look at this suit, if we just look at the club suit, it's the exact same situation we had when we were talking about surround plays on defense. Like if East-West were the defense here and they needed to get 3 tricks at once and East was on lead, the lead would be the jack of clubs. Same exact thing when we're declaring the hand. So that's cool that that came up, especially it was, very timely that it came up just on the heels of us talking about surround plays last week. Before we go, I'm going to give you my idiotically played hand of the day. And we can just put me back in here, I guess. Okay, so I was sitting west here in this afternoon's duplicate game. I opened 3 diamonds and it went all pass. And here's what happened. They led a trump. Not the best lead for them, but watch what happens. Well, first of all, let's talk about how this should go. All right, we should count our tricks. And our tricks are 7 diamonds. The ace king of hearts is 9. Once we knock out the ace king of spades, the 10 will be good. So that's a 10th trick. And we can rough a spade for 11 tricks. So there's actually 11 tricks here. And once they don't cash out, like cash their 2 black ace kings at the start, we're going to be able to get to all of them, provided we play the hand correctly. Now, Little background on this one. Last night, uh, Audrey was playing a hand that was kind of similar to this, and she was a little bit distracted playing a video game at the same time, and basically just forgot to take her pitches when she was in the dummy, let them in, they cashed some tricks, whatever. So I was sort of teasing her as I was playing this hand. I played a diamond from the dummy. Now look, if we just counted our tricks, we've already seen 11, right? And there's no reason. We only need to ruff one thing in the dummy, which means they have 3 trumps. We can afford to pull another trump, but not Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo wanted to take his pitches right now. He played the ace of hearts happily, and he pitched a club happily. And instead of drawing the last trump, which he completely could afford to do, he played the king of hearts. And guess what happened there? It went rough, and all of a sudden we've turned 11 tricks into 10, right? Because there's nowhere for me to throw the 8 of clubs now, and I just have to lose a club and 2 spades. So that's me being an idiot and not counting my tricks. I suggest that you count tricks. I would have done well to follow my own advice here. Anyway, playing Sherlock Holmes, the backward finesse, how it's related to the surround play on defense, and a reminder that none of us are above counting tricks. Count your tricks, play carefully. Concentration and careful play is it's so much of an edge in this game. Okay. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will talk to you soon.